Theo Von's going through the exact same thing. I think he just had a kind of a breakdown. And when he was talking to the crowd, and there's a video of it where he said, I'm trying not to take my own life. That's what I'm trying to do right now. Yeah. And like, you hear stuff like that, and you just go like, oh, Jesus Christ. I've known too many people that I didn't think were going to kill themselves and then did.
Why couldn't a Joe Rogan just picked up the phone and called Theo if he was like concerned about this? Why is he saying this on his podcast? Why is he like doing this weird predictive programming like, oh yeah, it's really sad, you guys, like it's what's happening with Theo, you know, we should be really concerned, it seems like something's about to happen. Like, that's the vibe I'm getting here. Joe Rogan has been saying a lot of really weird things recently. You know, he's very hesitant to talk about the issues of the day, be it genocide, be it an illegal war against Iran, occupation of Lebanon. You know, these are all things that in previous years he would be happy to bring guests on, experts on, to talk about in a lot of detail, right? And maybe in some cases he is okay talking about some of these things. I know in the past he's definitely been okay talking about these things in a lot of depth, right? And it's not to say that he doesn't even bring people on to discuss these subjects anymore, right? He's brought on Theo Von, he brings on Jimmy Dore still, he brings on Kurt Metzger, he brings on a lot of really great people, John Kiriakou, Tucker Carlson, as we all have seen. But I would have to say that the amount of guests that are like within the Epstein network, if you will, far outnumber the supply of guests that are critical of this sort of an agenda. I've watched Joe Rogan for years, right? I've met him in person only once. I doubt he'd even remember who I am if I saw him again. But you know, we went. Jimmy and I went to a show in Vegas. We went to a UFC fight. We were hanging out with him after. I think it was after the UFC fight. We were hanging out with him. But anyways, what I got to say now is like, what the hell is going on with Joe Rogan? Because I've watched these episodes with Theo Von, and we're going to react to some of these clips if you haven't seen them, where like Theo Von is just spitting straight facts. It's not even just about talking about Iran or Gaza or any of these issues, right? It's about how do they interconnect with this administration, with our government, the fact that 97% of Congress is bought and owned by the Israel lobby. You know, how do these things interconnect? And Joe Rogan, every time these subjects get brought up, he gets like visibly queasy about it. He doesn't want to touch it. He's like, oh, that's kind of crazy. But Israel's going after the terrorists, so they have to do this, right? And yesterday, Joe Rogan, on one of his shows, he started talking about Theo Von in particular. Theo Von, like one of the most outspoken voices that we have today. Him, Tim Dillon, who can really just so eloquently, in a humorous way, point out the insanity of the world that we're living in. We'll be right back with the episode, but first, a quick word from our sponsor. A few weeks ago, I covered Saga Metals, trading as SAGMF in the United States and SAGA in Canada, a company I've featured many times on the channel. We're revisiting the story much sooner than expected because in less than 6 months, they've transformed the scale of the company. Just 48 hours ago, Saga announced a 100% drill success rate across all 57 drill holes at the Radar project, all ahead of schedule, while adding $10 million to its treasury through a financing round dedicated entirely to drilling. Radar is now being positioned as a potential host to one of the largest titanium systems ever identified in North America. Saga also secured a strategic titanium acquisition from under $100 billion mining giant Rio Tinto in the same district as the largest titanium mine in the world. Then last month came the acquisition of the Wolverine project, located along the same belt as the Voisey's Bay discovery, one of the most significant mineral discoveries in history. The momentum is hard to ignore because America's critical supply chain depends on titanium. Washington has already committed $12 billion through Project Vault, alongside Executive Order 14241 and a State Department ministerial with 55 foreign ministers focused on critical minerals. As the U.S. and its allies move to secure the future, Saga is positioning itself where the money, mandates, and momentum are flowing, exploring materials essential for aerospace, aerospace, next generation systems, and stealth. The message from Washington is becoming clear. Onshore it, secure it, fund it, mine it. And one of the standout achievements here was Saga scooping another titanium project from under Rio Tinto, a company roughly 3,500 times larger by market cap. That takes skill, patience, and execution. If you want to learn more about this critical mineral story, check out the link in the description. Special thanks to Saga Metals for making today's video possible. And Joe Rogan kind of was like making it sound like, Theo Von is really going through some tough times right now, and like it scares me. It seems like he wants to do something to himself. I'm paraphrasing, but this is effectively what he's saying. I'm going to show you. Theo Von, by the way, already responded to this. I'm going to show you how insane it is that Joe Rogan is saying this, and also pose the question: why couldn't Joe Rogan just picked up the phone and called Theo if he was like concerned about this? Why is he saying this on his podcast? Why is he like doing this weird predictive programming like, oh yeah, it's really sad, you guys, like it's what's happening with Theo, we should be really concerned, it seems like something's about to happen? Like, that's the vibe I'm getting here. Anyways, take a listen.
Theo Von's going through the exact same thing. And the last time he was on the podcast, he was explaining it to me, and it freaks me out because I know Theo has had conversations before, like even publicly. He had a Netflix taping, and it didn't go well. It was like they shelved it. They never used it. And there was all these stories from people that were there saying he bombed. I think he just had kind of a breakdown. And when he was talking to the crowd, and there's a video of it where he said, the people were shaking, hey, we still love you. He goes, thank you. Look, I'm trying not to take my own life. That's what I'm trying to do right now. Yeah. And like, you hear stuff like that, and you just go like, oh, Jesus Christ. I've known too many people that I didn't think were going to kill themselves and then did. And then he goes down these spirals where he starts talking about world events and freaking out. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, I got to help this dude. And so I send him things about people getting off of them. And apparently there's some doctors that specialize in getting people off of them. But here's the thing about that chemical imbalance thing. That's not real. They used to think that was what these things do, that they treated a chemical imbalance. But then recently, the studies have shown that that is not what they do. They don't exactly know what they do. And they kind of numb you in some sort of a way that helps.
Now, I fully agree with Joe about the antidepressants and stuff. Maybe every person is different, right? I'm not going to be the one that tells you what to do with your body or anything like that. But I will say that if you question the government, if you question big pharma about literally everything, but then when you're feeling depressed, as people say, you think that the answer is to start stuffing fucking pills from these big pharma companies, Sackler family, down your throat, and that's going to fix everything and make everything sunshine and rainbows. Like, how retarded do you have to be, right? Maybe start eating better. Maybe start going to the gym. Maybe start trying to socialize with people more, right? These are all things that, I've never been depressed, right? But I can reflect on my life. Like, when am I happiest? When I'm working out, I feel better. I'm eating healthy. I'm with friends and stuff. I'm just getting active and doing stuff. I'm not scrolling on my phone all day, right? Which is especially difficult if you're working on social media, which is my income, right? I just do social media. But I also know people in my life, and the same thing is true. Like, I've literally seen people go through phases where they take antidepressants and they seemingly just turn into a human blob. Like, it seems like they're not living, like they're not alive. And then they stop and they start doing the things that I just said. Maybe they find a type of workout class that they love, something like that, and eating healthy. And it's like, then they magically find purpose in their life, and maybe they find God, maybe they do whatever, So I fully agree with him about that. But what was so weird was this first part of the video where he was talking about Theo Von. He said that Theo Von, he said that he bombed in his Netflix taping. He was doing a live show, a Netflix recording before a live audience, and he bombed. Which, if you know any comedians, that could happen at any point in your career. Obviously, when you're starting your career, that happens way more often than not, right? You bomb a lot. But it can happen even to a seasoned comedian, right? And so he said he bombed this Netflix show, and then he was like talking with the crowd, and people were saying, hey, we still love you. And he says, well, you know, I'm just trying really hard not to off myself. And I was like, you know, I watched Theo's show quite a bit. I listened to it quite a bit. And Theo Von just kind of like says stuff, and you know he's joking when he says it. And maybe it's super dark, right? Maybe it's like super dark. He's talking about his childhood, right? And he just kind of says stuff. And I'm like, you know, I kind of remember when he did bomb the Netflix show. It was like late September. He came out and immediately gave a statement. He recorded a statement in his podcast studio. And if I remember correctly, he literally said like, hey, look, I was just saying shit when I was up there. Like, it was not going well. And I totally don't mean that. I would never off myself. Right. And I found the clip. So Joe Rogan is saying this literally like 8 months later or so, 9 months later. He's had Theo Von on his show. He could pick up a phone and call Theo Von or text Theo Von at any point in time to say like, hey, were you like serious? Like, are you seriously going through like a point where you're seriously thinking about that? But Theo Von's already answered that. Take a listen to this. This is after he bombed on the Netflix show.
And there's people that would think like, oh, well, he failed, or who want to write up something that says he failed or make a meme. I saw one thing it said, bombs Netflix or whatever, taping or whatever. Awesome. Thank you, dude. But homie, I was fucking in that bitch, cuz. You should have seen me, dog. You should have seen me. I'm in the ring, bro. And I failed so many times. You could write, write what you want, big dog. Write what you want. It wasn't perfect, man. I'll agree to that. I've gotten so used to times I have failed. It's okay. I eat failure for breakfast, but you fill me up with failure flakes over the years, kids. And it's okay, man. That's part of the job. The first 10 years of doing comedy is failure. So much of my life, the best things that have ever happened on my life have been on the other side of failure. So, I'll say stuff sometimes. I say stuff, right? You know that. If you've listened to this show before or seen anything, I say stuff. I would never take my own life. I would never take my own life. Okay? You hear that, Israel? I would never take my own life.
Pretty clear to me, which begs the question, why is Joe Rogan coming out and saying like, yeah, it kind of seems like he's saying like he wants to off himself, and it's really dark, and I just am hoping for the best for him. As someone in the live chat just pointed out, kind of seems like Joe cares for Theo Von in the same way that Ben Shapiro cares for the people of Gaza, right? It's just so weird. And you couple this with like when Kurt Metzger, like the past 1 or 2 episodes Kurt's been on, he's just been, I love Kurt. And even I listen to the things he's saying. I'm like, how the hell does this guy know all this stuff? Like all these, and it's not just that he knows this. It's like, he's in these circles in Hollywood, right? He's a comedian. He's done acting, right? So he's like in these circles and he hears these stories and he connects all the dots. I'm like, this is just so interesting. But like when Joe hears it on his podcast, he's like, getting like queasy. He's like getting like, stop. Like you're going down a crazy person rabbit hole, right? And that's what Joe said about Theo here. He's like, he's going down these rabbit holes, these like scary rabbit holes and stuff. No, it's not a scary rabbit hole. The only scary thing on the face of the planet right now would be to try and cover up for Israel, for the Trump administration, for the Epstein network, for Palantir, for all these people that you bring on your show, frankly, and give them, these softball conversation interviews, right? So Theo Von replies and said, this is mostly cap. Sad to see this kind of stuff. I'm doing great. I'm a human being, which is a rocky ride, but I'm doing fine. Thanks. Yeah. Now, if you're wondering why Joe is saying all this stuff, you got to understand, like, Joe is in the middle of it. He is obviously has massive contract sponsorships for his show with major partners. $100 million deal, I think it was, with Spotify. I don't know if that deal is still ongoing. Obviously, he is the main commentator at UFC, which is now owned by Paramount. Paramount, of course, you know, they own CBS with Barry Weiss. Paramount is the Ellison family. What are they? The largest. They own TikTok, I believe, too. They're like the largest individual private donors to the IDF, Friends of the IDF. So Joe is literally in one of the worst positions I could imagine. You know, if you don't want to get fired from the UFC, if you want to keep all these cushiony deals, Theo Von is not in that position. He's like, I'm going to rip what I want. I'm going to say what I want. And that's just how it's going to be. So when he goes on Joe Rogan's show, he says stuff like this.
It's all just a cat and mouse game. People are like, we'll elect the Democrats next time. It's like, but it's all the same shit has been happening forever. They haven't been helping anybody forever. They're letting fucking politicians slurp on kids. All of our fucking money goes to Israel and they're using it to fucking genocide people. It's like everybody is scared out of their wits right now. It's like our religious leaders are afraid to speak out. And it's like it's a time where it's like Satan is amongst us and our religious leaders are fucking talking about bullshit at the poll. It's just like, what is going, I don't know. Man,
we gotta get you off those antidepressants, son. You're losing your fucking marbles.
What? When I heard Theo say that, like, I saw this clip on my Twitter feed when it first came out. I'm like, oh, Theo's spitting facts here. Like, he's on Rogan, he's feeling himself, he's spitting facts, and I expect Joe to just be like, yeah, bro, shit's fucked up, and then he's just like, we need to get you off those antidepressants, son. You're going crazy. We need to get you off those antidepressants. Bro, what?
You off those antidepressants, son. You're losing your fucking marbles.
You think I am?
Come hang out with us. Just chill out.
I'm here.
Come hang out with us. Come hang out with Dr. Jordan Peterson. Come hang out with me, Dr. Jordan Peterson, Brett Weinstein, and what's that other stupid podcast, guys? The two guys that got the show together. They attacked me relentlessly the past few years. What's it? The Perpendicular Show or something like that, or what? I forget their names. Anyways, come hang out with me and Brett Weinstein and Peter Thiel, brother. You're losing your marbles. We need to get you off those. Bro, what did they do to Joe Rogan?
So when we see like how it all played out and why it is what it is today, Jesus Christ, you'd be mad too.
Yeah.
And when you're mad and you're surrounded by bigger enemies that all have nuclear.
No, not Fresh and Fit. Fresh and Fit loves me. No, there's like trigonomics. I said the Perpendicular Show. Trigonomics. Those guys are the biggest federal operations in all of history. Trigonomics.
Nuclear weapons. You don't even have nuclear weapons. Wouldn't you be trying to make them? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying Iran should have nuclear weapons. I don't think
Trigonometry.
anybody should have nuclear weapons.
But Israel gets to have them.
Allegedly. This is the problem. Allegedly.
Everything's allegedly with them.
But allegedly,
except for the genocide.
You know, they don't officially have them.
Right.
I don't think they admit they officially have them. And you know who is a big opponent of Israel getting nuclear weapons?
JFK.
Yeah. That's what a lot of people think led back into the left.
Oh, yeah. Before they killed him, who? I don't know.
So the Iranian Revolution, also called the Islamic Revolution.
All right. Enough talk about that. I just got it in my earpiece. JFK, Israel. Back to the Iranian Revolution, these crazy Iranians and how Israel's trying to take out the terrorists, right? Oh, boy. We lost another one, folks. We lost another one. Not that Joe Rogan was ever perfect, but at least, you know, he'd sit there and be willing to go through all the madness and the craziness, right? I think, I don't know if anyone can fix this, you know? Theo Von gets told off and scolded, told he's crazy, antidepressants. He says the same things to Kurt Metzger. But, like, even Kurt Metzger would probably admit, like, the things he's saying, like, are objectively, like, kind of crazy, right? Like, Kurt Metzger's, like, you know, he's breaking down the matrix. Jimmy Dore, I don't think he'd do that to Jimmy Dore, right? I don't think he'd do that to Tucker, to Jimmy Dore. But like, bruh, they need to get these guys. They need to get like they do those national park episodes or whatever they're called. They need to get Jimmy Dore, Theo Von, and Kurt Metzger and like Tucker together and say like to Joe. They need to just flip the script to Joe Rogan. Like, hey Joe, we need to get you off those sponsorship deals, buddy. We need to get you off those sponsorship deals. You're losing your fucking marbles. Come hang out with us. Come back to the real side. Come back to the real world. That's what we need. Before you leave, I want to say thank you for the support, because after 2 years of being banned, we are finally back home on YouTube. So be sure to subscribe to our channel and also join as a member on our channel using the link at the top of the description. I rely on the generous support of viewers like yourself to get the truth out to as many people as possible. You can also support the show on Locals or Give Sin Go. The mainstream media and the powers that be are never going to stop attacking us for bringing the truth to as many people as we do. Thank you so much for your support.